Begin.
Yes, my name is Nakauka Juliet, a student of Masters of Arts in Refugee and Migration Studies of Uganda Matters University in Kozi. This is a recording of a video to the response of the question number 5. Ethics in migration and immigration. Ethics in migration is a very complicated and dynamic phenomena which, when not handled well, can result in a very bad scenario. The theories explaining migration can only be critically analyzed by intellectuals, academicians, and policymakers. The effects are more felt with mass movements of people who must be, first of all, looked at as causing a very big loss to the sending countries. Mass movements move with a lot of countries' investments in education, health, production of food, water, mention it. Moreover, the best quality labor, both skilled and unskilled, is drained. The remittances from the payments received offer the sending countries opportunity to receive more capital, but it is quite debatable if the substitution of the remittance to the outflow of the long-term country's investment in education and health, security and production is commensurate. The national and global debate usually revolves around economic impacts and the legal status of individuals or group immigrants. However, ethics evolves around perspectives of understanding the ethics of migration and immigration. The ethics of migration are complex. There are many perspectives on why people migrate, how people migrate, what impact migration has on receiving, transiting, and sending countries, and whether countries should encourage, discourage, or limit migrations. All these perspectives must be discussed exhaustively, one after another, to enable decision-making of all the three countries be well informed. The ethics of immigration and migration is a highly debatable issue that cannot be exhausted in a very short time. It is important to note that the underpinnings of ethics really stem from the moral fabric of the nations, the cultures of the nations, the political underpinnings of the different nations, and at this moment we must also emphasize the fact that it is not very likely that people would opt for migration on a mass scale. The reasons that cause migration on mass scale are really those ones that are so preempting to the extent that people really need to take a decision of either surviving or losing it. Migration is fundamentally the story of human race from its origins to the present. Migration is an integral aspect of life on this planet. People basically move to survive. They move in search of food. They move away from danger and death. They move looking for better opportunities. But whatever the case may be, the bottom line is to ensure that there is survival, and therefore at that moment migration becomes inevitable. I would wish that the discussion becomes a little more interactive, for every one of us to bring in a contribution so that we can be able to have one language being spoken about ethics and migration and immigration, specifically for African countries that are still struggling and grappling with poverty, which is the biggest cause of both immigration and migration. Thank you so much. Like Professor Augustine mentioned, Migration is tied to the human spirit, which seeks adventure. Even when people move amidst issues and problems, they still seek to find about new things in countries where they are going. They pursue dreams and find reasons to hope even in the most adverse circumstances. So this one means a lot. As much as there is a lot of attachment that is breaking when people must move, but still there is hope that probably a better alternative is on the way. Such movements affect the communities migrants live and the communities that receive these migrants. These movements also impact communities along the route of transit, meaning that migration is becoming so volatile to the extent that at whatever stage the migration has reached, all issues and all resources must be committed to enabling it be smooth. Ethical issues arise at all times, from the moment of onset through the transition to the destination country. So the ethical issues have to find about the inevitability of migration. Must it be? Or is there any way we can prevent the occurrence and happening? How much can countries politically be involved in preventing migration? If we can be able to understand the causes and complexities of migration, probably countries would invest more in prevention of migration. But then, what about those other issues that cannot be worked upon by countries? Can there be concerted efforts by the different countries? Because today, migrants are coming from country A to country B, and tomorrow it will be the reverse. They'll be coming from country B to country A. Meaning that, can there be a united force in form of, for example, the East African community? How can we work it out to ensure that in the East African region, we are able to maintain and contain migration causes, so that the migrations are basically for the most genuine and interesting circumstances that will lead to development, for example, of the common market? Is migration necessary for the survival of the human race? If yes, why should it be? Can't we make it a better alternative? Can't people survive without migrating? Even when we talk about immigration, can people survive without immigration? But anyway, can there be a benefit from the migration, from the immigration, from the emigration? Can countries get benefit out of it? If we can a cost-benefit analysis be conducted to see which one is the best alternative? Whichever the way, I would wish that the topic is very interesting. Ethics is one of the things that we have always taken for granted, but it is a diverse field that needs a lot of concentration in order for us to be able to put it into perspective, especially when it comes to formulation of policy towards the populations that are engaged or that find themselves in the circumstances of migration, immigration, and emigration.